Hello, everyone. I'm Bill Belias,
Toby Thomas.
and we're very happy to be here. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Joanna. We learned a lot today just by listening to this session. So we are SoFresh. SoFresh is a young company. We've been around for 2 years, and Toby and I have had experience in packaging, about 30 years each. So together we have 60 years of experience in packaging. And we have worked on freshness extension for a very good part of that amount of time. And so we understand plastics, we understand all aspects of increasing freshness through packaging. So we're here today just to describe our new product.
Wait, before you go on, whoa. I want to point out that both of you worked on the Hefty brand, didn't you?
Yes, correct.
And the innovation you brought to the Hefty brand was immense. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure, I'll start. When I was young, I worked on a brand new to the market product that put a slider zipper on top of a food bag. And so that was a new to the market consumer package that we launched in 1993 and grew that into a very large consumer business, and it was very convenient.
Just a very, very small, large portion of it. Like, we're talking about the inventors of the Hefty Ziploc.
Yeah.
So with that, what made you create this new invention, new innovation?
So as part of our work with Hefty, we learned quite a bit about food storage and extending food storage. And part of it was the microbial loads on the food. So bread has mold that arrives on the bread during after baking, during the cooling process, and you talked all about that. And so there was a time that we were actually testing different antimicrobials for different types of food, and we used bread as the test case. So bread molds very quickly, so it enabled us to see the microbial effect and how our antimicrobials were working on that. But since then, and I'm going to start reviewing what we wanted to talk about today, we decided that we want to go and help develop the science of fresh, and that's what SoFresh means, science of fresh.
Oh.
And to use that to help the consumer get fresher products. We want the earth. We want to serve the earth by lowering the food waste. So every time you lose a loaf of bread due to mold, you're actually generating a lot of greenhouse gas, and that went to waste. And then also for the bakeries, what we want to do is we want to give you more time to get your product to the consumer, more time for the consumer to enjoy your bread. Less waste. So that's really what we're all about. We're about freshness, food waste, and time. Okay. And so when we started all this work, we started really simply with using laboratories to test different antimicrobials, and we found some foods that actually have antimicrobial capabilities. So these are foods. That means the FDA has considered them as foods that you can put, ingredients that you can put in food that are safe for consumption. And then one thing in addition to that, we found that there are liquids that evaporate, and as they evaporate, they prevent the growth of bacteria. And what you can see in this slide, you see one slide that had zero liquid or zero vapor of an antimicrobial. This one had 5 microliters, and then we slowly increased it, and you'll see at 100 microliters, in 7 days, you had no growth of mold. And that's how we found different materials that can actually prevent the growth of mold on bread, on other foods, and so on.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how we screened the ingredients. And then the second innovation, and that's where Toby and I developed a film that we can put the liquid inside the film at room temperature, and then we can make bags out of the film, the same kind of bags you use today, and surround. So when you package the bread in these bags, the liquid evaporates into the atmosphere around the bread. So it's not part of the bread. So it's not an ingredient in the bread. It's just the atmosphere around the bread. So it reaches all the nooks and crannies in the bread. And then that's where the mold is. It's on the surface. And it could be in parts of the, as you slice the bread, near the surface, you may have some mold. And you see Mark showing you 2 different loaves of bread. It's the same exact bag you use today, except we have modified the film so that it can create this atmosphere. So it's sort of like doing modified atmosphere, but without all the equipment, okay? And then what we did is we did bread trials, and we're going to show you one where we took our bread and a regular loaf of bread, meaning both of them are the same exact bread made at the same time. And on the left side, you have the SoFresh bag, on the right side, a regular bag. And you see as time goes on, the mold is growing on the right side, but we don't see any mold on the left side. This gave us a total of 5 extra days in this experiment. And then if we go to the next slide, we took many loaves of bread. So we've done extensive testing, and we tried different concentrations of the additives, and we had controls. That means bread in regular bags, bread in our bags. And as you can see, we have students that they look at the bread every day, and in the end, we summarized all the results of these large studies. In this graph, what you see is the control, that means no SoFresh, and then various amounts of SoFresh. And as you can see, as we increase the level of SoFresh, we get more days. So the control in this case was a special bread that had 12 days of shelf life. And then when we went to the next level and the next level, we went up to 40 days of shelf life. So an additional 28 in this case. But depending on the bread, we can get different amounts of shelf life.
And this is straight, no preservatives.
So the bread in this case had absolutely no Calpro, no vinegar, no preservatives, none of the natural preservatives that you described. And it was made by a company, a local company, bakery that makes bread, and we asked them to make sure they didn't put any preservatives in it.
Okay.
So, and then the next part, Toby.
Yeah, so by just swapping out your wicketed bags, there are top line and bottom line benefits. One, you can take out the Calpro, you can take out the cultured wheat that have a taste change, and you can get clean label product just by changing out the packaging. You can get 30 days on product that you have frozen, flash frozen and kept in cold storage. You can actually eliminate that and the preservatives and still get 20 to 30 days, which is a lot. You eliminate the waste, the consumer returns, the retail returns, and the retail cold chain, and you get better flavor. So you can get a better for you, better tasting bread by changing out your packaging. You can then work on improving the texture with your formulations, and you get more capacity. So if you have a product that has anywhere from 10 to 30% sales and spoilage, by mold, that's free capacity. If it's not going to waste, you now have 10 to 30% more oven capacity. And so you can come out with a new product, an organic or gluten-free product. And you have the ability to improve the taste because you're taking out the cultured wheat and you're taking out the CalPro. On the bottom line, we talked a little bit about this, but you eliminate that 12 to 15%. Every item in every bakery has a different amount of loss, but they all have some product that comes back due to mold. The refrigeration costs, what surprised us is that is one of your biggest costs. If you have a clean label product and you flash freeze it and you ship it through cold distribution, that can be up to 50 cents a loaf of added cost to keep that cold. And if you just think of the sustainability benefit by not having to freeze the product, you're doing good things for this earth. And the CalPro. Getting rid of the CalPro, getting rid of the natamycin, if you're using that, will allow you to get into newer markets like Wegmans and Whole Foods and some of the other places. And so you can replace your expensive ingredients with higher moisture levels. So if you're selling a 1 pound loaf of bread, and if you can have higher moisture levels so that you don't have to worry about the mold, you can reduce your wheat and stuff like that, and actually use something as using water to get to that pound ratio. So that may be of interest for somebody. And of course, you can always increase your capital utilization by, if you're gonna make 100 loaves of bread, you can sell 100 loaves of bread. And so you're actually getting a good ROI by changing out your packaging. Next slide. Okay, Bill, you want to cover this one?
So the what you have to do, there are things you have to do and things you don't have to do. So you don't have to buy any new capital. As a bakery, all you do is use the same bags you use today. So you order the right size bags and we get you the right size bags, and you package your film in these bags, or your bread in these bags, and all of a sudden you have the extra days of shelf life. And you work with us to determine what the ideal number of days of shelf life are. So we can tailor that for you. So it becomes part of the recipe. So every time you order, you get the same number of shelf life days extension. And you don't have to buy any new ingredients or any new types of packaging. It's still bags. So that's what you don't have to do. What you can do is remove some of your ingredients, like especially preservatives. You use our bags, you use SoFresh bags. You sell more bread, you have increased capacity now, so you have to find a little bit more business, which is great. You develop a new series of marketing strategies so that you can put on your bag, clean label, better tasting, fresher, longer, organic, yep. And then you reformulate your bread if you want. You don't have the fear of mold anymore, so you can add more water. You can add more different items, like even blueberries or raisins or whatever you want to add to your bread. You can shorten the cook time. You can actually shorten the cooling time, as you were talking before. Right now you're constrained. You want to increase the cooling time so that you have less moisture. But if you do that, then your bread is a little drier. So more, just keep more moisture level, and that may be a good thing for your bread. I'm not sure. You're the bakers, so you know. And then less acidic dough. You had a constraint for CalPro to reduce the pH so that it reduces the amount of mold. Well, now you can increase that. You can keep it higher. We don't know how you're going to use this advantage, but what we do know is we can give you shelf life. And the way we do it is we have a clean ingredient that goes into the packaging and comes out of the packaging into the bread and surrounds the bread, keeps the mold from inhibits the mold from growing. And then over time, that effect goes away. So it's not that it's forever. We have not killed the mold. We have just kept it from growing. And so we're not killers. We're just putting to sleep mold.
You're not killers, you're preventers.
Exactly, we're preventers. Yeah. So if you need more information, we're here for you. Toby is our CEO. I'm the technical officer of the company. We have the ability to make samples. We can work with you. We can understand your needs and help you get more shelf life. And hopefully that can help you make more money and better bread.
Yeah, well, thank you. And we are coming out to 10:30, which we want to pull a hard stop to this presentation because it's too long and people need to get back to their work. We will just answer the most important questions on here, which I see. I'm just going to pick through the most important ones, okay? And the rest, we are going to move over to the forum, and Mark is going to post all the unanswered questions on the forum. So, okay, so I saw one that's really interesting. Does your packaging retain the texture as well, like softness and freshness? So correct me if I'm wrong. I picked up on added moisture because you can package a little earlier. So that's going to help by keeping more moisture in. And also, I believe I heard from your presentation that you can skip the freezing storage. So if you skip the frozen storage, then you skip the freeze thaw cycle, which pretty much helps you eliminate the freshness enzymes. So that's what I see. What do you guys think?
Yeah. So our package is very similar to the package that's being used today. It's polyethylene. Both packages have polyethylene, but we have some additional layers other than the polyethylene that helps with flavor loss, so you don't get any flavor loss. It helps with more moisture barrier, etc. So that's the only difference between your package and now, and then the additional active ingredient that we have in the packaging.
Okay, so does has it been tested in different environments like temperature and humidity?
Yes, we are in the middle of doing some pilot trials, and we have tested it in the dead of winter, and we have tested it in the late fall, and we're about to continue in 2 other tests here in the next coming weeks. And so right now, the peak of the high moisture time of year, this is going to be a really good challenge pilot. And we can deliver, certain customers are asking for 15 to 17 days of shelf life, and we can deliver 30. So we're very confident that we can make this product exceed the expectations of the customers.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Next question is, are these SoFresh bags available in the Africa market?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're not yet. We are addressing North America first, and we are poised to grow and expand quickly through some special vendors that we're working with, and but we do want to take it internationally for sure.
Does it work for bread only, or can you also use it for Belgian sugar waffles? And is it available in smaller sizes?
Yeah, it works for bread, any baked good. It works for berries. It works for shredded and sliced cheese. Those are 3 areas that we tested. So on like blueberry muffins or blueberry or raisin bagels, things that you have a real spoilage, or raisin bread even, that where you have a real spoilage issue and where people tend to freeze that product. This packaging works incredibly well.
All right, so if there are a couple more questions on how to get this and how to get more information, Bill sent you his information, so I hope you got it. If not, come over to the forums. We'll talk more about that. Before we end, I wanted to share my experimentation with all of you out there. This is the control sample that is 27 days old. It's got no preservatives in there, okay? And this is the control that is mold-free, 27 days old. Now, this was cooled to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, you know, the normal cooling time in the bakery. What I did was I took it up another step and I package it when it's warm at 135 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a control sample, and this is the SoFresh bags. No mold, 0 mold, 27 days, package at 135. So you can see that there's extra moisture in there. Okay, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to taste the bread right in front of you guys, just to give you, you know, I'm not gonna taste the moldy ones, of course. They're covered in mold. But yeah, you know, so this is no mold. I can smell mold. Still fresh. And yeah. So huge difference in moisture. The one that's packaged at 135 degrees Fahrenheit and the one that's packaged at the normal temperature, huge. So you can see by keeping the moisture in, you get a heavier product and a moister product, okay? I'm eating 27-day-old bread, mind you. The texture's not good. I gotta put enzymes in here.
Yes, yes, you've got to fix the formula.
Right. But I wanted to show everyone that I took these bags and I tested it, and the technology, I'm sorry. I should follow Mark's advice on putting some fat in this thing. That's got no texture whatsoever. But the technology works, and if you need more information, you know, contact Bill for pricing and contact Bill for the samples, okay? But this is really an interesting take on packaging warm breads. I have not seen this done before, and I am pretty amazed.
Thank you, Lynn.
All right, everyone. Unfortunately, we need to go, and Mark is going to guide the rest of the discussions on our forum page. So please go to our forums, join us, and we will continue the conversation there. Okay?
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.